Monday, December 16th, 2019, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Before I start this morning, I'd like to thank again all the viewers, all subscribers for their continued support of the channel, and especially also the new subscribers for having an interest in the channel. I like to say as well that right now until the end of the year, I've got a 20% discount in the maneco 64 Teespring store. You can use the promo code XMAS 2019, Christmas 2019, and you get 20% off. One of my most popular items that we sell is the End the Fed mug. And with that, I want to talk this morning about some books that I think will help you understand what the Federal Reserve is all about, what central banking really is all about. Some of you might know central banking is one of the planks of the Communist Manifesto, one of the 10 planks. They call it centralized credit. And that's what we have in central banking. The Fed doesn't need to be reformed, doesn't need to be nationalized, seeing that the regional banks, of course, are owned by the commercial banks. No, the Fed needs to be abolished through an act of Congress, just how it was created in 1913, right? So, without further ado, let's look at the books. Some of my favorite books about the Federal Reserve. One of them is by Ron Paul, End the Fed, right? New York Times best-selling author of The Revolution, End the Fed by Ron Paul. I met Ron Paul actually in 2002 at the Mises Institute's 20th anniversary conference in Auburn, Alabama. My wife and I went there for that conference. It was a great conference, and Ron Paul happened to be there. A very nice man, Ron Paul and the Fed. These books, of course, you can find them online on all the major online sellers, right? Like Amazon and others. The second one is actually from a man who's passed away, but he's the one who was the pioneer, I think, of looking into the Federal Reserve, and he was urged as a young man, I think in the late 40s, early 50s, to do so by Ezra Pound, famous American poet, right? And that's Eustace Mullins. He wrote this, The Secrets of the Federal Reserve. Highly recommend that as well. He's the original pioneer that was trying to expose the Federal Reserve. This is probably a little harder to find, The Secrets of the Federal Reserve. Eustace Mullins. And the third one, which is probably the most popular one, is by G. Edward Griffin, of course, The Creature from Jekyll Island, a second look at the Federal Reserve. I've had this for many years. It's one of my favorite books. It's got quite a lot of, got some photos, illustrations as well. Quite interesting, highly recommend it. What does it say here in the back of the book? Where does money come from? Where does it go? Who makes it? The money magician's secrets are unveiled. Here's a close look at their mirrors and smoke machines, the pulleys, cogs, and wheels that create the grand illusion called money. A boring subject? Just wait. You'll be hooked in 5 minutes. Reads like a detective story, which it really is, but it's all true. This book is about the most blatant scam of history. It's all here. The cause of wars, boom and bust cycles, inflation, depression, prosperity. Your worldview will definitely change. Putting it quite simply, this must be the most important book on world affairs you ever read. So there you go. The Creature from Jekyll Island. So now let's quickly look at what the markets are doing this morning. It's quite early. It's 7:40 a.m. London. Their headlines, of course, the U.S. and China have come to a phase 1 trade agreement. as you can see here from investing.com, it says Asian shares jump on phase 1 Sino-US trade deal. It says U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer said on Sunday a deal was totally done, notwithstanding some needed revisions, and would nearly double U.S. exports to China over the next 2 years. But so it looks like it hasn't even been signed. It needs revisions, and it's only phase 1, right? So just wanted to put that out there. So this morning, we've got spot gold up $2.50. I saw last night when COMEX opened around 11 p.m. London, gold was slightly lower, got down to 1473. So it's rallied now. It's 1478.40, right near the highs. Silver is doing very well. I said in my video, was it Saturday, that we needed to see silver outperform to see gold, the precious metals take off. And silver is up almost 1% this morning at 1706. High has been 1710, the low 1689.5. We need to be patient about the precious metals because they're going to be the only monetary assets that will protect you when the system implodes, right? I have a feeling the repo crisis is evolving a little bit like the subprime crisis back in 07. People didn't think it was going to be a big problem. A lot of people didn't even know about subprime, and it just kept staying in the news. It's the same thing about the repo. The Dow is up 25, 28,161. S&P is actually outperforming. It's up 10 points or 1/3% at 3179. And the NASDAQ 100 future also outperforming the Dow. It's up just over 1/3% at 85.18. So stock markets are continuing to do well. As I said before, though, we need to keep an eye on the Dow gold ratio to see how stocks are doing in real terms, in terms of real money, gold. Currencies. The pound is still quite volatile. We saw it rise up to like above 135 right after the election result, Thursday through to Friday last week. It dropped to almost 133 late on Friday. We're now back almost up to 134. It's up just under 0.5%. Sterling or cable. The euro is fairly firm as well. It's up 0.25%, 111.50. The dollar is virtually unchanged against the yen at 109.40, and the dollar is just above 7 versus the yuan. It's down slightly versus the Chinese currency. WTI crude just under 60 is down 0.25%, 59.85, and Brent down 1/3 at 64.55. I'll finish off with the bond markets. The 10-year yield right now is up 1.5 basis point at 184. Later on today, the markets will digest some economic data in Europe. We've got the PMI data, manufacturing PMI, coming out soon. And in the U.S. at 9:45 Eastern Time, we'll be getting manufacturing PMI and service PMI data. They're all preliminary data. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Make sure you hit that little notification bell to be notified of all my new videos. You can also follow me on Twitter, Steemit, DTube, and I'm also on BitChute if you want to watch my videos there. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.